Hello, everybody. I'm not sure whether anybody's there. I can't see anyone on chat at the moment. Let me see if I can find something. No, I've done it. It's gone completely now if you are there. Anyway, thank you. I'll smooth this out of the way. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thursday, the 27th of February, and it's now 7:31 p.m. And that's just for those people that don't think this is actually live, because it is. It's really live. It's happening. I'm in my kitchen talking to you now. And tonight I want to talk to you about what you can buy and what you can't buy, pretty much. Because if you don't have the cash for it, you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, you can't buy it. And pretty much that's it, folks. Look, talk over. Not quite like that though, because you can still buy things, but then you'll get into debt. And remember, the aim of this is to be debt free. We want to live this way. We live the cheapskates lifestyle so we can be debt free. We'll be debt free, cashed up, and we'll be laughing all the time. So if you don't have the cash for it, you can't afford it. And that's a really simple rule to live by. I know there's all sorts of things, and there'll be plenty of excuses. I'm sure if I had chat on here now, I'd have a gazillion excuses coming up as to why, of course, you can still afford it even if you don't have cash. But no, if you don't have the cash to pay for it when you go to buy it, you can't afford it. So you either don't, I'd excuse the noise, that's my husband raiding the fridge. You can't afford it, or you have to wait and save up for it. What are you trying to do? Just leave it on the bench. Just leave it on the bench. I'll fix it later. For goodness sakes. Okay. So you can come up with excuses like, I'll pay it off. I'll put it on the credit card and pay it off at the end of the month. But I need to have it. Right? Need is a four-letter word, folks. Unless it's a matter of life and death, and it's not a roof over your head, food in your mouth, clothes on your back, medicines. Do you really need it? Is it a real need? So think about those things too. And I chose the topic because during No Spending Month, I was guilty of this too, I found lots of excuses or reasons or reasoning to spend money that really wasn't essential. Now, the idea of No Spending Month is that you only spend the money that you absolutely have to on the essentials. So your rent or mortgage, any bills that come in, any true bills that come in, food that you must have to live, not going out for dinner or zipping to the local cafe for coffee and cake or whatever. No new clothes. Now, surely you can go for a month without buying new clothes if you absolutely have to. No magazines, nothing that wasn't essential. So that at the end of the month, you should have some money left over in your budget. Hopefully, you've got lots of money left over in your budget. But I was finding lots of justifying for, well, it was planned for and budgeted for. Okay. Or I did whatever, but then I did whatever at home. I bought new shoes, but I really needed them because I, lots of things like that. Now, I know a couple of members had true emergencies during the month, and they were really clever about their spending with it because, they both had decent household maintenance categories in their spending plans, in their budget, so they had money in there to cover the cost of them, but they both then did their research and haggled for better deals and found ways to cut the cost of both those emergencies. And in one case, saved nearly $500. Seriously? That's not to be sneezed at, folks. That's almost a week's wages. So that's not to be sneezed at. So whilst they did have spending, that was essential spending because they were true household emergencies. One was a plumbing emergency. I can't remember what the other thing was, but it was, anyway, it doesn't matter. They were both emergencies that had to be fixed. So the spending for that isn't an issue. It's the spending on the coffee or the cake or, well, the t-shirt was only $2, so I had to buy it because I know I'll wear it. Well, you know what? Seriously, a $2 t-shirt? Do you not have other clothes? The magazines, the going out, the buying whatever because it was on sale and it was too good to pass up. There's always going to be sales. So if you miss one, don't be devastated. There will be another one. So don't worry about that. So I wanted to talk about if you don't have the cash for it, you can't afford it, because of that justification during the month and because of the excuses and the reasons and the whys and the whatevers for their spending. And as I said, I was guilty of it too because I visited an op shop and I bought a plate. Seriously, I do not need another plate, but this one's really pretty. I bought a soap mold that I did need and I had been looking for. And so I justified the soap mold, even though it was $1, I justified the $1 by saying I've been looking for it and it's only $1. And if I don't buy it, it won't be here next time I come. The other thing I did was buy the pie maker that I used on Tuesday night show. And I justified that by saying, well, we haven't had an oven since November. We really need something to be able to cook pastries. And it's only $15. So if it doesn't work, I haven't lost. I was just trying to justify the non-essential spending to myself, not to anyone else, because really, does anyone else care what I spend? No, just to myself. So I'm glad I did get the pie maker though. I will say that. But I wanted to make sure that we know it's really important to think about our spending. So I wiped out my cash reserves in my spending purse. I have to start from scratch next month. Luckily, it's nearly the end of this month. But when you're shopping, it's really easy to just use your card, your credit card or your debit card, and just shop. And so you'll buy the groceries, you'll go to the newsagents, you'll go to the butcher, you'll go to the greengrocer, you'll put petrol in the car, somebody's got a birthday coming up, so you'll go to a department store and buy a gift and paper and a ribbon and a card and whatever. And you'll be walking past the Target and they'll have baby clothes on sale, so you'll go in and, oh, it's 40% off. And buy, Coles will advertise like that this week that they have bonds on sale. And you go, oh, good brand, it's on sale. And you spend it without thinking. And come the end of the month, when you're trying to do your balance, your budget, and get all the categories to balance, you may well have overspent. So that's why I like a cash budget, and that's why I say if you don't have the cash, you can't afford it. Now, I've talked about our budget purses before, and I have one for groceries, one for petrol. I go to the bank once a month. I get out the money that I need. I put it in my purses. Once that money's gone, it's gone. I can't overspend. I can take, if I've got petrol money left, I can take the petrol money out of the petrol purse and use it on whatever. But then if I need petrol, I may not have enough money to fill the car, especially with the way prices are going up and down at the moment. So once the cash is gone, they have to wait. If it's something really big that we want as a family or as a couple for our home, if we don't have the cash in the category for it, we save up. We wait and we save up. I'm not a fan of time buy now, pay later. Absolutely not a fan of those. I don't like putting things on credit. That's just not ever a good idea. And please don't tell me that you do it for the points and you always pay it off at the end of the month. No, you pay for those points. You are paying for that. So no, there is no such thing as good credit. The only credit that you should ever have is a mortgage on your home. And someone's going to come up and say, well, I have to have car loan and I have to do. No, we've talked about this before too. If you have to borrow money to buy a car, then you borrow the least amount you possibly can. You buy a clunker, you drive it for 3 or 4 or 5 years while you save up to be able to pay cash for a car. You do not finance a car. It's dead money. Absolutely dead money. Buying on credit for things that don't appreciate, especially consumables, is dead money. You are paying way too much for something and you're getting nothing for it. So the only credit you should ever have is your mortgage. And I know that that is not what the gurus out there tell you to do. They all say, oh no, you buy on credit and you pay it off at the end of the month and you take advantage of the deals. And well, do you know what? In theory, that works. But teeny, tiny percentage of the population has the strength and will to do that, or the actual finances to be able to do that. Because you can put everything on credit, you can put everything on your card, pay it off at the end of the month. That's great if you know exactly how much you're going to be spending and exactly how much you've got coming in. Because you need to have it to the cent to be able to pay it off in full when it's due, or actually before it's due, so that you're not paying interest on it. It's not a good idea, folks. It's just not a good idea. And you won't convince me otherwise. And I know it's not the popular way to do things, but if you want something, you save up for it. It's the only way that you will ever own it. In my workshops, I tell people, if you owe someone even $5, you own nothing. When you have a debt, you own nothing and you run the risk of losing everything. So you aim to be debt-free. You pay cash for as much as you can. Now, I heard a man, and I didn't get his name, on the Channel 7 News tonight, which I thought was really interesting because they were talking about shopping habits and stuff. And this older fella, oldest is me, he was older than me anyway, older man, and he actually used a phrase that I use all the time, and that is cash is king. You have cash, you can haggle for a better deal. You own it straight away. You aren't paying interest on it. And in fact, if you've been saving even the tiny bit that we might be getting, you are earning off that cash. So cash is king. Use cash. Don't make excuses for using credit or buy now, pay later. Worst schemes ever. Or Afterpay or Zip Pay or any of those things. They're not true lay-bys, and so many people are getting into financial strife with those schemes. It's ridiculous. So if you want to do a true lay-by, ask at the store if you can do a true lay-by. I asked at, we were in Cairns a few years ago, quite a few years ago now, about 5 years ago now, since we did that trip. And they had the oil we needed for our car on half price. But we didn't need it right then. And because we were going right to Cape York, I did not want to, well, he didn't either, but we didn't want to lug those big bags, bottles of oil, jars of oil, all the way to the Cape and all the way back again before we would need to do the oil change before we came home. So I asked if they had lay-by, which was a perfect solution for us because I paid half of it. They did the lay-by. I told them when we would be back to pick it up. They were happy with that, and that worked really well. They were able to do a lay-by for me, and that was at Super Cheap in Cairns. Go figure. So ask if you think, because then you can pay it off over 4 or 6 weeks. You've got your payments spread out evenly. There may be a 50-cent or $1 service charge, but that's nothing to the interest that you would be paying if you were to put it on credit and not pay it off. And at the end of the time, you pick it up, you take it home, you own it. It can't be taken off you. You own it. It's really important to understand that when you have things on credit, you don't own them. You might have the use of them and you might think you own them, but you don't own them until they are fully paid for. So when you want something, think first, remember the $100 24-hour rule. If it's over $100, you'll wait 24 hours to buy it. Extend that and think about, do you really want it? Can you really afford it? Do you have the cash right now? Now, whether you use your debit card or go to the bank and take the cash out, do you have the cash right now to pay for it? If you do, and you really want it, and taking the cash out of the bank isn't going to upset being able to pay another bill or something, then it's up to you. Or would you rather put that money into savings or superannuation or something like that so that it will grow perhaps and do better in the future? Something to think about. Now, I've lost Hannah. She hasn't come out tonight, so I'm flying blind here, guys. Really flying blind because I have no comments at all. Can't see a thing. Sorry. I don't even know if anyone's there listening to me. Let me see if I can do this. Oops. I don't know if that worked for you. Let's see if it works for me. Am I here? Yep, here I am. Oh, gosh, okay. Well, I'm here. I still can't see any comments. I'm sorry if you're asking questions. I can't answer them because I can't see them. For whatever reason, they have gone. And I don't quite know how to bring them back. Not to worry. If you've got questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them after the show. All right, now, if you don't have the cash, you can't afford it. Save up for it. Don't put it on credit. That's my message tonight. I also want to say, we'll talk about a couple of different things. Hannah was in Coles this afternoon after work. She was looking at their Easter eggs and things because she has a project that she wants to work on. And she noticed the Lindt chocolate. So she had Lindt bunny and then Lindt, multi-pack of Lindt chocolate eggs. And she did as she always does, she price compares. And the chocolate eggs, while they look to be more expensive in the bag, were actually cheaper per unit. So per 100 grams, they were actually cheaper than the Lindt bunny. So something to think of. That cropped up in the forum this week too. Again, it was with chocolate. So same deal, the multi-packs were on sale as were the chocolate blocks. But the multi-packs worked out per 100 grams to be cheaper than buying the block. So I'm about to sneeze. That's not going to be pleasant for you. No, I'm not. Sorry, folks. Or maybe I am. Oh my gosh. Sorry. The joys. Excuse me. All right. So that prompted me to remind you to always check the unit price. And at Coles, Aldi, Woolworths, IGA, most of the supermarkets will do the unit price, and it will be depending on the item and how much it weighs. It will be per 100 grams or per kilo, or meat is usually per kilo, vegetables are usually per kilo. Grocery items can be per 100 grams or per kilo, depending on what it is. When you go to buy your herbs and spices and things, because they're only small amounts, they usually do the unit is per 10 grams. So you'll be able to compare the prices with those. But just because something's on sale doesn't necessarily always mean it's cheap. It just means they want you to buy it. That's pretty much all it means, is the store wants you to buy it. So they'll call it sale and put big red and yellow stickers on, because that triggers the emotion in our brain that goes, ooh, ooh, bargain, 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 and off we go. So always compare unit price for everything, even your Easter chocolates. Alrighty, it's only going to be a short show because I think I've run out because I can't find anyone. Let's just see. Flossie, are you awake? She's not here. She's gone out. Okay, sorry, folks. All right. Now, just some general housekeeping. Cheapskates Club memberships are on sale for $25 for the first year, starting today, because Sunday is the 1st of March, and you all know what March is, don't you? March is Moo Month. Yes, it's my favouriteest time of the cheapskating year. I love Moo Month. We do 31 days of Moo. So for 31 days, we have a different Moo something or other every day for you to try. I've been doing this since, I think 2012 was our first 31 days of Moo. So there's quite a bit there, which is really good fun. I've also, in today's newsletter, said, I want your moos. I want to know what you moo. I mean, I do washing powder, obviously, and miracle spray, and pasta sauce, and condensed milk, and taco seasoning, and what else? Scones and all sorts of things that I moo. But I've got the hiccups. Sorry, guys. But I really want to know what you moo too. I want to know what you moo. And if you're new to Cheapskates, you may well be wondering what moo is. And it simply is make our own. It's when we use the condensed milk. When you look at sweetened condensed milk and think, oh my goodness, it's so expensive, I wish I could make it, but you can. And the recipe is on the Cheapskates Club website. So if you go to the website and types condensed milk in the search at the top, the recipe will pop up for you and you'll be able to make it. You can make it for less than half the price of a can of condensed milk, and you'll get the equivalent of 2 of what used to be the old cans, so 2 400-gram cans, not 2 390-gram cans, because they are shrinking. Prices going up, can sizes going down. So that makes it really cheap. It's really easy to do, but that's a moo. That's when we make our own. And that's one thing you can cross off the shopping list. You don't have to lug it home. You don't have to buy it. You need some powdered milk, a little bit of butter, and some sugar, food processor, or an egg beater, or a hand beater, or a stick blender, and you can make your own sweetened condensed milk. So that's a moo. So if you're new to cheapskating and you're not sure what moos are, that's what moos. If you read the newsletters and we've got moo whatever, it just means it's a make our own. It could be naan breads or cough drops or foaming hand wash, or it could be absolutely anything. Because most of what we buy, we can make ourselves at home. We all know about the bread and jam and cakes and stuff, but all the little things like the foaming hand soap. Did you know you can make your own shampoo? You can make your own mayonnaise. You can do simple stain removing soap. Instead of buying Sard soap, make my stain removing soap. It's the best. It's really good. It's very inexpensive. It's really easy to do. And it's another thing you can cross off your shopping list. It will save you money, it will save you time, it saves you energy. So think about the things that you like to make yourself and share them with us, because I want to know what you move. Cordial. Do you moo your own wine? Do you moo sun-dried tomatoes? Or do you dehydrate sultana grapes and turn them into sultana? I want to know all these things that you do. Do you hook rugs and make your own rugs? Do you spin fleece into yarn to knit socks or scarves or jumpers or whatever? I want to know. I really want to know what you move. So send them to me. The link's in today's newsletter. Send them to me and share them with us all, because I'm doing another 31 Days of Moo book, and I will include them in the book for everybody to be able to download. Right, what else? That's it on my list. I told you it'd be a short show tonight. So just remember, guys, when you're going to go shopping, if you're going to buy something and it's not on your shopping list, or it's not, or even if it is on your shopping list, something to think about. Just because it's on your shopping list doesn't mean you can afford it. Think about whether you have the cash for it. If you have the cash for it, can you afford to buy it? Look for the alternatives. And if you don't have the cash for it, just don't buy it. Just save up. It might take you an extra week or an extra two weeks or whatever. Just save up for it and get it then. Okay, so sorry we've been so super crazy, but there's a thumbs up underneath. I would really appreciate it if you could give me one. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do. It just means you'll be notified when we go live, when I upload a video. Again, I can't see any live chat, so I don't know what's going on out there. I'll have to catch up with that later. So please, if you've got questions, leave them in the comments right down there, underneath me, right down there. Click on add a comment or comment, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. And I shall see you on Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. I don't know what I'll be talking about. I don't know. Don't know whether I'll be making something. I haven't got that far yet. But yeah, Tuesday night, 7:30. Thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I shall see you then. Bye-bye.